What's going on, YouTube family? I pray everybody's having a blessed and wonderful day thus far. Okay, so we're gonna get into feminism. Okay, now before I start down this rabbit trail, do a deep dive, let me say this. Okay, I 1,000% believe that there are those in power who are demonically controlled, who who sit around and receive demonic instruction, okay, who craft plans and proposals and schemes for the purpose of destruction. Absolutely, 1,000% do I believe this. And had it not been for this last trial that I just recently went through, uh, uh, I would not have had the reality that I have now, that witches are real, that witchcraft is very real. I've seen it with my own eyes. Okay, so the demonic influences of the kingdom of darkness, people that serve that agenda, that's part of that kingdom, that are demonically influenced, that receive instruction, that receive plots and plans, and are in a position of power within this world to craft different laws and policies and put them in place to control mankind. I absolutely 1,000% believe that. 1,000%. I cannot be that. I can. My mind cannot be unchanged in that. Just like I know Jesus is Lord, I know that kingdom and those that serve that kingdom are just as real. Okay. And with that being said, feminism is absolutely a Trojan horse from that kingdom. It was demonically inspired. It was demonically crafted, and it's being demonically implemented. Absolutely, 1,000%. And the more I get off into this thing, the more that reality begins to shape and manifest and becomes clearer and clearer to me every day, every day. Now I know I may be late to the party, okay, as far as feminism go, because fortunate enough for me, I was not indoctrinated in the educational systems of this world. I only have a GED, and there used to be a time I used to hang my head low over that. But you know what? I'm kind of glad that I didn't continue down higher education, because now the more and more that I see it, it's nothing but indoctrination. So I don't have all the programming that the world's educational system does to people, clouding my mind and clouding my vision. My education comes from living real world experience, from walking with the Lord all my life, from being a disciple of Jesus, from being a student of His Word, from cover to cover, front to back, side to side. Right? I know the Bible inside and out. I live it. I love it. And I learn from it every day, every day. So those are my credentials right there. I don't have a master's degree from some university saying that I'm smart and educated, and no, I have real life, real world experiences. Okay, and so coming from that's why I'm saying I may be late to the party when it comes to feminism, but once I saw that what was going on here in society, and how everything is topsy turvy, and it really became getting more involved politically. Okay, seeing the policies of the Democrats, and then when I'm seeing out here in the real world, right, I was seeing like what is going on, and then through my trying to figure it all out, I kept coming across feminism, feminism, feminism. You know what I'm saying? And so the more I got into what is feminism, how does it apply, what was its purposes, the more I begin to see that how we see society today, when it comes down, even with transgenderism, when it comes down with mass abortions, when it comes down to child support laws, all these different things that favor women, is all fruits of feminism. Okay, when we see the elevation of woman, when we see the mindset, look at the mindset of these modern women out here. Listen to them. Just look at them. Look how they present themselves, and listen to how they speak, and how they think. and no longer do they see themselves as women to have children and to be wives. Now they see themselves almost in the sense of being better than man, right? Let me own the company. Let me be the CEO. Let me be the president. Let me rule and reign. That's out of order from how God created things. And that was the whole purpose of feminism. Feminism was a Trojan horse. It was a two-headed Trojan horse between feminism and welfare. Okay, and both of these policies came out of the Democratic Party. Absolutely, I've been researching it. I got my favorite tablet right here. I go on. Yeah. I've been deep diving into this thing. Okay, so what is feminism? A lot of people hear these words, but do you even know the definition? So we're gonna just cover this real quick. Feminism, the belief in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes, has evolved through distinct waves of activism and theory. The first wave focused on legal rights like suffrage, women being allowed to vote. Okay, we're gonna touch on that real quick. While the second broadened the scope to include social and cultural inequalities, the third and fourth waves, more recent, grapple with issues of intersectionality. Sound familiar? Individuality, and online activism, respectively. Okay, so the first wave was women's suffrage, women being allowed to vote. Now, I know on the surface it seems benign, and I could get behind that as well. Women should be allowed to vote, and so I understand. See, this is the thing. This is the thing. For thousands and thousands of years, all over the world, just the natural order of things. Men have always been the hunter and gatherers, and women have always stayed and raised the children and cooked the meals and took care of house and home all over the world without even having colleges and school. It was just a natural order of things, right? Okay, now of course we're living in a fallen world, so there is going to be abuse and just extremes. You're gonna have that no matter what. So there was some societies, some communities where the woman was just being abused greatly. They couldn't own property, couldn't vote, they had no kind of rights whatsoever. It was no more than property. Okay, that's not right. Okay, I get that, but now there's the overcorrecting. Okay, and this is what we're going to get into. Okay, so the first wave of feminism was suffrage, women being allowed to vote. Who can't get behind that one, right? It's the Trojan horse. Okay, so the first wave was from the 19th and early 20th centuries. This wave primarily focused on securing legal rights for women, particularly the right to vote. Real easy, real simple. This is just a mechanism to get it started. Now, I say it was a Trojan horse. Okay? Should women have the right to vote? Absolutely. But the demonic forces, they saw this as an opportunity. Okay, we're going to put this program together. Here, we want women to be able to vote. But see, they already knew. Then we're going to go to the next step, and then the next step, and the next step. It's a process. Do I think these people sit down and make 40, 50-year plans? Absolutely. Absolutely. They're not just playing this thing day by day. These people are putting plans in place that they might not even see in their lifetime. Okay, I absolutely believe this. It's not a conspiracy theorist. I mean, it don't take anybody with just any kind of sense can see that. Yeah, there's powers at play that run the show. Okay, so the second wave of feminism from the 1960s to the 1980s. To me, this is the meat of it right here. Okay, this wave broadened the feminist agenda to include social and cultural inequalities, challenging gender roles, and advocating for reproductive rights, abortion, and equal opportunities in education and employment. So the second wave of feminism, this is where they really started getting crazy with it. Because now, the second wave was from the 60s to the 80s. So within that 20-year period of feminism, now combined with the Welfare Act that started in 1935, and then in 1973 they combined it with SSI, okay, and the Food Stamp Act, it was in 1964. See, it's all within that period from the 1960s to the 80s. You had the SSI kick in, cash assistance. You had the Food Stamp Act of 1964, right? And then you combine that with feminism. So the whole goal was, okay, so now that we got women to vote, boom, we're in their minds now. Now we're going to step it up to the next wave. Okay, ladies, You don't need to just sit in the house and be a wife. You can go to work. You can go to school. You don't have to have babies. In fact, you can start having abortions now. See what I'm saying? So now it started pulling women out the house. Okay, started giving them access to where they can start unaliving their babies. Here you don't no longer need the man now. We'll take care of you. We'll give you cash assistance. We'll give you food stamps. Hey, you want to go to school? I didn't even look into this part yet. I bet during this period we'll see this is where the implementation of Pell Grants, all these different school loans and stuff for these women to now go to college and become educated in their liberal colleges. So now we got the liberal woman. So we're just gonna continue this feminism thing. So now during the 60s and to the 80s, in the second wave of feminism, this is where now they started bringing in, telling women they can come out the house, they can unalive their babies, they can go to work, they can get educated. You see what I'm saying? You don't need the man now. They was really ramping it up in the second wave. So the third wave of feminism was 1990s to the 2000s. I was in prison during this time, so I was in a bubble. But when I came home, I saw this with my own eyes. Like, what in the world is going on out here, okay? So the third wave, this wave emerging from the second wave, is characterized by its focus on individuality, diversity, intersectionality. Third wave feminists acknowledge the complexities of gender and challenge the notion of a singular female experience. They also address issues of race, class, and sexuality within the feminist movement. So I bet if anybody do a deep dive if they want to, from the 90s to the 2000s, this is probably when we'll see the most liberation of women becoming more sexually promiscuous, right? Because now they got abortion act going already from the 60s. So in the third wave of feminism, now that we got them out of the house, now that we got them in our schools, now that we got them in the workplace, now we're gonna start stripping them of their moral values. You feel me? So now they become more sexually minded. We're gonna start open. We're gonna liberate the woman mind as far as like they say intersectionality, gender roles. Hey, woman, you could do it just as well as a man can. A man could be a woman could be a man. You could be what you want to be, right? So all these different ideas came into place during the third wave. Now the fourth wave of feminism is from 2012 to present day, okay? Often associated with the rise of social media, this wave uses online platforms to combat sexual harassment, right? The Me Too movement. Oh man, all this is the fruits of feminism. Violence against women, rape culture, the Me Too movement, that's in here, is a prominent example of the fourth wave feminist activism. So in this fourth wave, that's when we see the Me Too. That's when we hear these women talking about they'd rather have the bear over the man. That's when we saw that they was having abortion. They want to have abortion till after the baby is born. You see what I'm saying? It just increased. And then I also wanted to point it out from the third to the fourth wave. This is when we started seeing more acceptance of the homosexuality, transgenderism. All these things are fruits of feminism. Homosexuality, transgenderism, that whole LGBTQ thing is a fruit of feminism because only women are accepting of that lifestyle, right? So yeah, so I just wanted to deep dive into this and bring these four things out. These are the four phases of feminism, and we are in the fourth phase to this day. And so that's how I'm gonna end it right there for this one. This is just an outline of what I see going on. I'm gonna continue to deep dive into this thing. I find it to be fascinating the more I get off into it, because I know it was a Trojan horse by the devil himself to see what we have now. We have the modern woman who is created in the likeness and image of feminism. That started from the first wave with women's suffrage to what we have now. So you're looking at, what was the first wave? The first wave was from the 19th and the 20th centuries, right? So from the 1800s to now, so you're looking at maybe 150, 200 years of a process. And now what we see, the modern woman is made in the likeness and image of feminism. So when you go online and you see different podcasts and you see these modern women, how they're thinking and how they're just so living in their delusion, know and understand that is the product, the likeness, and image of feminism. That is the embodiment of this demonic idea. Plain and simple. So, Christians, I want you to be aware of that, pay attention to it, and see feminism as exactly what it is. It's been hijacked by the kingdom of darkness and is used to destroy what God created. It's just that simple. So I want to keep bringing awareness to the body of Christ on this issue, and to us fellas. Man, run like Joseph from these modern women. Don't have nothing to do with them. They are not godly. They are not godly. They are empty vessels being used by a democratic machine and been weaponized by the democratic machine and by the devil himself to destroy man. It's just that simple. Okay? It's not hating on women. I love women. I do this out of love for women to begin with because I want my sister to get back to the natural order of things, back in alignment with the Lord, and back to the true calling as women, and then men get back to the true calling as men, and then we can continue and get a handle on this thing. Because if we don't, you see they're coming after our kids now. You see they're coming after the kids now. All right, so that's all I got on this one. Thank you for watching. If you found any value in this, leave a like. If you haven't sub, and feel free to leave a comment. I welcome it all, good or bad, right? Thank you for watching. Have a blessed, wonderful day.